I guess he's just obsessed with me.
No. Next, Joy's going to say she's never heard of carbs. Seriously, her denial of knowing me is as believable as her red hair. But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch and Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. It now smells like a humid day inside Joy Behar's moo-moo. The motives stink worse than Joy Behar's jog bra. I mean, assuming she jogs. Oh, wait, there she is.
Greg Gutfeld unleashes fiery wit and razor-sharp commentary as he dismantles Joy Behar in a showdown that's equal parts savage and entertaining. With punchlines that land like thunderbolts, Gutfeld leaves no room for rebuttal, tearing apart Behar's arguments with biting humor and bold conviction. The clash sparks a media storm, one that has viewers glued, shocked, and cheering. If you thought political debate was dull, think again. This explosive exchange rewrites the rules. Gutfeld didn't just argue, he dominated.
In tonight's View on The View, here's Joy Behar calling young Republicans dumb.
This business about the aging that keeps coming up and talking about the young generation. The young generation of Republicans are dumb. You've got that Vivek Ramaswamy. You've got Marjorie Taylor Greene. You've got, wait a second, Lauren Bubblehead, Matt Gaetz. But you have all these people who went along with the insurrection, who believe that Trump won. Oh, Marjorie's out there. Oh, Trump won by a landslide. They're liars, and they are the new generation of the Republican Party.
Joy sure loves running her mouth. She should, but she should. It's the only running she does.
Greg Gutfeld is like a man who's just been handed a gift-wrapped opportunity, the kind that appears when someone on television says something so predictably absurd, it begs for a proper response. And not just any someone, this time it was Joy Behar. She had gone on one of her usual rants, casually brushing off conservatives as simple-minded people who live in a fog of ignorance. Nothing groundbreaking from her, of course.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I noticed Jesse was a 7.
Joy Behar calls her a 10. I mean, how dare she objectify a woman with a sexist rating system, but it's such a typical thing from a 1.5.
She had turned it into an art form, or at least a noisy hobby. The only problem, Gutfeld wasn't in the mood to let it slide. There was no need to shout, no need to rant. He approached it like someone rearranging mismatched furniture in a crooked room.com, deliberate, a little amused. Joy's statement wasn't just offensive, it was boring. So predictable, it could have been printed on a t-shirt sold at a Brooklyn coffee shop. And Gutfeld, he doesn't do slogans.
Did you watch the whole thing or just the parts that I sent you?
I watched it. Obviously, just the parts that you said. Did I watch a whole episode of The View?
No woman can do that unless you're stupid. But
I have a job.
Here's the thing. How can they call themselves progressives when they keep saying that nothing has progressed? Then it's on them.
Right. I just wish I could have, would have watched if I could, would have been Joy Behar watching that.
Yes.
And being like, I totally made the right call. It was not an accident that they had him there on her day off.
While Joy enjoys polished studio lighting and daytime applause, people are working in real offices, managing real budgets, building things, and solving problems. Gutfeld illustrated the sharp contrast between those who critique from behind desk panels and those who show up every day to deal with actual consequences. One side tosses around opinions, the other gets results. He outlined examples of conservative leaders improving schools, lowering crime rates, and managing local economies without the benefit of a live studio crew applauding every 5 minutes. He didn't pretend every conservative idea is flawless, but he challenged the notion that any of it is inherently stupid. If someone's delivering better outcomes, what exactly is so dumb about that? He took it a step further. What if Joy had to live in one of the places she mocks? Not for long, just a week. He described her trying to navigate a local town hall meeting, getting lost in a supermarket where nobody sells almond cheese. trying to pump gas while staring in disbelief at diesel prices.
Of course, there's as much a chance that Trump will be impeached as there is a Joy Behar ever seeing her feet. The Washington Post ran a fluff bomb celebrating centrist Democrat women, going gaga over their resumes, mom energy, and group chat chemistry. But in this journalistic stroke job, not a single policy position was mentioned, which is weird. That's like doing a profile on me and not mentioning my many bodybuilding awards. Thank you.
It wasn't just a roast-it, it was a full-blown travel documentary from a parallel universe called Everywhere Else in America. But the funny part wasn't just imagining Joy outside her comfort zone. It was realizing that her entire worldview collapses the moment she steps out of her curated echo chamber. Gutfeld didn't say it with venom. He said it with a smirk. The point practically danced off the screen. If you've never left your bubble, maybe don't act like an expert on everyone who lives outside it, he continued, with a hypothetical what if Behar had to defend her statement in a debate, not on a comfy TV set, but face-to-face with a mechanic, a farmer, a small business owner, or a mother homeschooling her children while managing bills. Would she still call them ignorant? Or would she realize that maybe understanding the world takes more than sarcastic remarks and studio makeup? Then came the comedy. Gutfeld imagined a new show, something like Joy Meets Reality. Each episode, Behar visits a different conservative town. Her mission, survive. Try attending a high school football game without making a snide comment. Try understanding the Second Amendment without referencing a musical.
Well, she had that one Halloween where she went to Diana Ross and she felt she was treated differently.
You know, I also just, he also came off as just extremely likable.
Yeah.
I know that they booed him when they heard certain things, but it was hard to watch that and get mad at him or think he's a jerk. So I think maybe being in an environment like that could make somebody very irritated beyond the ability to do that, but he really pulled it off.
What did you make of it?
Try explaining inflation using something other than interpretive dance. The humor didn't undercut the seriousness. If anything, it highlighted it. When people constantly belittle others for thinking differently, it's not satire, it's social blindness. And that's the thing Gutfeld wanted to expose. Not that Joy was rude, but that her opinions were built on a foundation of assumptions, so shaky they could collapse under a single curious question. He didn't shout, he didn't pound the table. He just dismantled the argument one sentence at a time. He explained that progress isn't owned by one political party. It's not something delivered by talk shows or awarded by applause. It's the result of hard decisions, real-world testing, and disagreement. He poked fun at how people like Behar confuse disagreement with danger. The moment someone brings up personal responsibility or free speech or lower taxes, it's suddenly an emergency. Not because those ideas are evil, but because they don't come pre-approved by the brunch table. And then came the real jab. Not at Joy's politics, but her playbook. The tactic of avoiding discussion by throwing insults. Gutfeld described it like watching someone play dodgeball against ghosts.
Joy Behar, the comedian that inspired me to be a cab driver. She proved yet again how dumb she really is on The View when she pointed out that people in East Palestine voted for Trump. Roll this.
I don't know why they would ever vote for him, for somebody who, by the way, he placed someone with deep ties to the chemical industry in charge of the EPA's Chemical Safety Office. That's who you voted for in that district. Donald Trump, who reduces all safety.
Ooh, you can hear the audience gasp. God, The View's so bad I'd rather watch Jerry Nadler do naked jumping jacks.
It's entertaining for a minute, but then you realize there's no one on the other side. Just noise, empty swings. He imagined a debate between Joy and Say, someone who worked 2 jobs to keep a family afloat, someone who didn't have a media platform, just lived experience. Would she still mock them to their face? Would she still say they're dragging society backwards while they're moving their families forward? It wasn't just satire anymore, it was a reveal. The punch wasn't in the joke, it was in the mirror. Behar's arguments weren't collapsing because Gutfeld was louder. They were collapsing because they were never strong to begin with. He closed it all with what felt like a mic drop. Not with noise or rage, but with clarity. If the only way to win an argument is by calling the other side dumb, maybe it's not a win. Maybe it's just hiding. Maybe it's fear of the real. Conversation, no name-calling, no grandstanding. Just humor, facts, and a simple message. People can disagree without being dismissed. If Joy Behar can't handle that, maybe it says more about her than it does about anyone else. Gutfeld leaned back, job done. Not a rant, not a meltdown, just precision comedy with a purpose.
No, she wouldn't have. Yeah, she's just there. She's just basically inherited that spot. Maybe they can't move her.
Yeah, that could be.
That could be it.
Fossilized.
Yes, it's like she's grown into it. Like those people that they find on sofas and they're like stuck. They have to take and they find the remote control in a fold.
She's a tree person.
She's a tree person, Kat. She's a tree. Shouldn't it, when somebody says something like these people are dumb, shouldn't there be an app that then like connects these people together and they have to prove that they're smarter?
Behar's statement didn't just backfire, was deconstructed and sent back to her in pieces without ever raising a voice. That's what makes this kind of destruction different. Not loud, not angry, just devastatingly effective. The argument didn't need shouting, it needed sunlight. But just when it seemed like Greg had finished his verbal demolition and returned to his regular programming, he couldn't resist squeezing a little more juice from the Joy Behar citrus. Because when a moment this ripe lands in your lap, don't walk away you. Pour it over everything like hot sauce on scrambled eggs, he imagined. For a second, a world where Joy took his advice. She wakes up, no teleprompter, no publicist, no earpiece feeding her one, just her, a modest rental car and a GPS set to Middle America. First stop, a diner in rural Kansas. No oat milk, no kombucha on tap, and no avocado toast with edible gold leaf. Just biscuits, black coffee, and a server named Darlene, who's been running the place longer than Joy's been recycling political takes.
Cancel them. And this has got to stink, because Joy Behar, she's lashing out at Gen Z for acting like the economy left them behind.
They feel left behind by the economy, and they also see everybody trying to not age. So that they
Please, get a job.
No, but they have jobs. No, they have to work multiple jobs.
There's a million job openings in this country.
Life is so
get a
important.
job.
They've also lived through a pandemic. They've lived through the worst of times. I'm raising 2 Gen Zers, so I want to just defend them a little bit.
Kind of makes you like Joy Behar for a second.
That'll never happen. I think Bigfoot expresses exactly the problem of so many entitled, aging elites. I got mine, what's your problem? The problem is not everybody can be as talented and as beautiful as Joy Behar. Not everyone can have the glorious opportunity to shine on an intelligent vehicle like The View. But here's the deal.
Yep.
When I hear Joy Behar, I hear the dying gasp of a malicious, self-centered generation. I'll be dead soon.
Joy walks in, eyebrows already raised like the air smells unfamiliar. She tries to order an environmentally responsible tofu scramble and is met with a stare that could curdle soy milk. Darlene hands her a laminated menu the size of a legal pad and says, "Sweetheart, around here scrambled means eggs." Already, the mission is falling apart. Greg painted this fictional journey with more color than a Crayola factory. Joy attempts to make small talk, asking what folks think about coastal politics, only to be told, politely and firmly, what they think about paying bills, fixing tractors, and making sure their kids don't grow up allergic to sunlight and debate. Joy clutching her pearls and wondering if anyone nearby even owns a ring light. He pictured her walking into a local hardware store, asking where the solar-powered air fresheners are, kept only to be redirected to the aisle with duct, tape, and propane. Joy pretends to look interested, while secretly scanning for a charging station for her electric anxiety. The point wasn't just to be funny. It was to highlight how disconnected the insult-slinging elite often are from the everyday reality of people they love to criticize. Greg then went back to the basics. The real irony of the Behar-style worldview is how little it trusts the people. It claims to protect the idea that voters in the heartland can't make informed decisions unless those decisions come pre-approved by the talking heads of mid-morning. Television is not just insulting, it's delusional.
She's on The View.
Save it, dude.
She's on The View.
Totally.
Together they can't get 10 brain cells together.
Thank you.
Oh,
That's
God, she's an idiot clown in a fright wig. I think, Rob... Rob.
Yes.
Yes. Look, I don't have a problem with anybody calling anybody dumb.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay.
By the way, I say worse things.
It assumes people are incapable of nuances. If free will disappears somewhere between the coasts and the kicker, many of these so-called backwards places are thriving in ways the elites can't explain: low crime, strong families, balanced budgets. But no one at Joy's table is toasting to that. Because if success doesn't come with a hashtag and a celebrity endorsement, it apparently doesn't count. Greg imagined Joy sitting in a small-town barbershop trying to explain why people should care more about her televised outbursts than about school choice or rising food costs. One man offers her a chair and says, "We don't get cable out here, but we do get bills." That line alone would short-circuit her ability to reply without retreating into buzzwords. There was no bitterness in Greg's tonjust, that razor humor that slices deeper than shouting ever could. He wasn't just roasting Joy anymore. He was holding up a mirror to an entire class of media types who think airtime equals insight, who believe loud opinions matter more than lived experience. The punchline, the destruction wasn't personal, it was philosophical, methodical, and surgical.
Kennedy, you talked about Joy and the nonsense that she'd said before.
Absolutely.
I think on this show.
Certainly, Greg.
If not,
I'm not going to
show.
shy away from this.
No, you're not.
We literally talk about anything else.
No.
No, I'm kidding.
No. The View, by the way, we have to say thank you to The View for providing us with It was a slow weekend for news, right? I had to do war. So The View just gave us like so much. Did you see it was on Fox all the time? It's like the Fox News went to the View buffet and just started scooping out, going back for more.
Greg didn't resort to the same tactics Joy used. No empty labels, no lazy generalizations. He never once claimed Joy Behar shouldn't speak. In fact, he welcomed it because every time she did, she handed him another opportunity to prove how shallow her talking points really were. What Greg exposed wasn't her volume, it was her vacuum. The spotlight she thrives under didn't amplify truth. It illuminated the hollowness of her arguments. Her microphone was loud, yes, but Greg showed that noise isn't knowledge. With every comparison, every slice of humor, every clever hypothetical, he demonstrated that performance doesn't equal substance. His takedown wasn't a tantrum. It was a masterclass in how to dissect inflated self-importance with wit and calm. That's what made it so satisfying. Not the insult, but the insight. And with one eyebrow raised and one perfectly timed sentence at a time, Greg Gutfeld didn't just destroy Joy Behar, he dismantled the illusion that arrogance is intelligence.